All right. It is officially 2:58 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to take the time to thank every single one of you for stopping by. I'm going to try to kind of scroll back and welcome all the ones that are on already. Predator Poachers Archive, thank you for stopping by. And thank you for the membership. Appreciate it. The Real Wise Guy, thank you for stopping by. Philly Girl, thank you. I'm not going to say that name, but thank you for stopping by, even though there's a weird comment on there that I'm not going to read, but even you, thank you for stopping by. Olorki, thank you for stopping by. Strick, John, Dreamer, JS, what's up? It's me, Sunshine, Cass. And for everybody else who's going to stop by in a few minutes, I want to thank you ahead of time. I want to thank you for taking out of your time today to give me a few minutes to do this interview. And FM, what's going on, man? What's up, Toyo? I did get the haircut. I'll just show you guys real quick. For a pretty fast haircut, because honestly, the guy did it in half an hour, maybe a little more. I think it came out pretty nice. I mean, for the most part, I can't get the camera all the way in front of me, but y'all can kind of see more or less with what I'm working with right now. But yeah. All right, Cass, I understand. Johnny Bravo. He kind of, Ghost already said on one of my streams that he's just waiting on the last catch to kind of be prosecuted, which I think was a teacher. But yeah, what up, Rebecca? Left a patch on top. I mean, hey, man, I gotta work with what I got. Honestly, for now, I'm not gonna shave my head just yet, so it's all right that he left the patch on top. Just looking for treasure. What's up, John? Yeah, NJ, what's going on, man? We still gotta work out details for the tier that I owe you, bro. Just hit me up on DM and let me know when and you know how long you want to chat for on the live Instagram. Okay. Thank you for giving me a hard time, Polo. But yeah, guys, I wanted to, other than thank you guys for stopping by, obviously, like I always do, because I'm eternally grateful and thankful for every single one of you. Yeah, Rebecca. Sure, we'll go with that. But thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Anyways, outside of thanking you guys for being here, which means the world to me, I honestly do appreciate it 100%. I also want to lay down some rules and guidelines for the chat area, okay? I tried my best on my end to keep these interviews extremely focused on the person that I'm interviewing. And I tried to keep it as PG as possible. What's going on, Tetris Guy? What's going on, Jason? Sinead. So I have to ask you ahead of time, guys, please, in the chat area, let's try to keep it drama-free, beef-free, zero to little to no drama at all. Do not bring other predator poachers or predator catchers names in the chat area. Today we're going to focus on Alex. We're going to do a one-on-one. I'm going to try to keep things as organic and as natural as possible. I'm always putting certain foundational questions in a structured way, just to have some kind of guideline and focus onto the actual interview. But I'm going to try to keep it as natural and as relaxed as possible at the same time. So yeah, Benno, definitely. So if y'all see anybody in the chat area getting out of line or talking about another topic that isn't about strictly Alex, then for the mods that I have on my channel, just keep an eye out for that, because I do want to be able to forward this interview to other like pages and stuff, and it's going to be hard to do that if like in the chat area it's all like looking crazy, people cussing and cursing, mentioning other poachers or catchers, or mentioning other topics that have nothing to do with Alex. So I'll really appreciate if you guys can keep an eye out for that. But yeah, those are like the only rules. Obviously, if you, the viewer, are on here as well, try to keep cussing and cursing to a minimum, to none, hopefully. I can't really control what you guys do on the other end, but I just have to humbly ask you guys, if you can try not to curse or cuss, then I'll appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And also, if you have any questions, okay, do not type them in right now. Hold any questions or doubts that you might have for Alex till after the actual interview. All right. Once again, for those who didn't hear me, or just to clarify and kind of like highlight this, but if you have any questions for Alex, do not type them in right now. Just write them down on a piece of paper for now, save them, and hold them for after the interview. And everybody heard that? Everybody good with not typing in any questions right now and just holding it for after the interview? Just give a thumbs up in the chat area if you understood. And the mods, if you see any questions going on while I'm giving permission to the mods, because it is a rule that I'm putting right now. I'm giving permission to the mods. If they see any questions going on while I'm interviewing Alex, mute the person. Don't ban them, but just mute the person, because I'm trying to strictly enforce that right now. Because, obviously, while trying to conduct an interview, and also looking at the chat area, going back and forth, multitasking or whatever, it's tough to kind of like watch a question go by and want to ask it, or like decide if I should ask it or not. It makes things a little harder on me. So if y'all have any questions, just write them down, save them for now, and then after the interview, we'll get to the questions, all right? I'll highly appreciate it. And just check in. All right, so he driving. He's saying he's gonna be available around 3:10, so that's good. It's almost 3:10 anyways. But yeah, so I guess while we wait, I'm gonna try to share his last catch that he has on his channel. That way, whoever hasn't seen any of his content gets a little sneak peek at his content. All right, so I'm gonna excuse myself from the screen for a few minutes. All right, while I confirm on this side that he's good to go, and I'm gonna share that catch, the last catch that he did. So just give me 1 second, guys. Don't go anywhere, and just stay right there. Stay tuned. All right.
absolutely obliterated.
You get 2 booty holes.
2 booty holes. I hope you don't know. So you're gonna get absolutely obliterated.
You have to cut that out.
You can't be doing this shit. Dude, but in all seriousness, man, like, you have a sickness. How many other underage kids have you talked to before? Just be honest.
Is that?
That one?
Is that one?
Okay. Just that one?
Yeah.
So how long have you been on scout for?
I don't know. Probably like 5 months.
Okay. And you haven't come across one other underage kid on scout in those 5 months?
No.
So what if it was another underage kid? Would you have still dated them? Potentially? I mean,
I don't know.
how many people respond to your messages?
Couple of them, but they be like, when they reply, they be like, go to some website, like some sex website, whatever.
And you never go to those websites? I mean, honestly, why don't you just get a girl in person?
Yeah. That's why I was on there, looking for a girl.
Well, yeah, you found a girl, but I meant a woman. So you understand this video is going to go online, and Round Rock's going to know about you. Austin's going to know about you. Freaking Salato's going to know about you. Belton's going to know. Every place around here is going to know who you are. And the address is right there.
Yeah.
How old are the people living in your group home?
2 and then me.
But how old are they?
Or like 70 something.
So they got out of prison at 70 with you?
Oh, no, they never been in jail.
I think they're the host.
There's a house?
It's probably a host house.
So if I were to tell them, what do you think they would do?
You can't even hear.
Huh?
You can't even hear that good when you talk to them. You gotta
Can we all just go together though?
Right.
Yeah. Through the window? I mean, hey, come on, it's a group home, so let's go as a group into the home. Can I go in and
All right, so I just got word from Alex that he's ready to go. So I'm just gonna wait for him to join with the link I sent him. I will not be sharing the link on the chat area for obvious reasons. Trying to keep the troll situation down to a bare minimum, if none at all, if that's possible. So I sent Alex the link, so only he has the link right now. But yeah, that catch was good. I was rewatching it earlier. Yeah, thank you, Sophie. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna give Alex a little time to kind of make that link work, and we'll have him on here. But yeah, guys, remember the rules, please. No cussing, no cursing, no questions until after the interview. Mods, be on the lookout for potential trolls. And once again, my mods have permission that if they see any questions at all in the chat area while I'm conducting the interview, I'm going to allow them to time people out, because as I expressed earlier, that's one of the rules, is keep your questions until after the interview. So I already said it a few times ahead of the interview, so there should be no misunderstandings, no doubts about that whole situation. So yeah, I could have kept the video going a little longer. You having trouble with the yo? That's what's up, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that, wise guy. Appreciate that. And yes, I could call you by your real name, but I'm gonna keep it, low key right now. But appreciate the $10 donation. Oh, by the way, guys, while I'm conducting the actual interview, if you guys donate, I'm going to be as professional as possible and have to hold back on my gratitude and my thanks until after the interview, because it doesn't look right that while I'm conducting an interview, I'd be like, oh, thank you, shout out to so-and-so for the $5, $10, $20 donation. It just doesn't look right. So if you do donate, I do appreciate you ahead of time. But I will reserve my gratitude until after the interview, That way it doesn't look weird or, just off on my end, giving the gratitude during the interview. So just giving you guys a heads up. All right. But thank you, wise guy. I appreciate that, bro. Let's see. Let me double check on my end. Okay, no. You should be good to go. All right, Alex. Don't keep the people waiting. Oh, of course. As you're stopping by the stream, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help the channel get out there. And because obviously I'm trying my best to make this channel into my full-time job and career. The thumbs up really does help my content get out there. So I do appreciate if you guys give it a thumbs up and share it. Oh my goodness. Already not a good start with a different name, but what up, Becca? Let's get this started, I guess.
What's up? What's up?
Hold on.
Oh,
Look at my mic. All right.
I look so bad. I hear you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I just want to make sure you hear me because sometimes when I plug the mic back in, it kind of delays the whole sound thing. So,
all right. I just want to preface this whole interview by saying the only reason I look like this is because I was in my car talking to a fan, and 3 black guys in ski masks came and shaved my whole head off and actually stole my car. I don't even have my car, and they killed my whole family. So believe me and send me some donations. My Cash App is Shibo16. The donations help bring my family back to life, actually. So I really appreciate everything. All right, what's up?
All right, bro. Great start. Great start. That's gonna help you a lot. So that's good on you. So first things first, bro. I have initial questions about like your background and your upbringing, if you will, like I always do, just to get like a better look at who I'm talking to, and allow everybody else who's going to see this afterwards to kind of have like a better understanding of who you are as an individual, as a person, putting all the catching aside. All right. So what's your immediate family nucleus look like? Like your parents, you have any siblings, stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. So I grew up with 2 parents in the house, and, my dad was in and out of the house. He would go to work sometimes and come back. So it was kind of unpredictable, but he took care of us. And I have 2 brothers. I have 2 younger brothers. One of them is like just going to college now, and the other one's a basketball player in high school, followed in his big brother's footsteps of being an athlete and stuff. And yeah, that's my little nuclear family right there.
That's good. That's good. Like, what about morals and values and stuff like that? Like, were your parents always like, letting you know, like, hey, when you're out in the real world, you treat people with respect, all that stuff. Like, how was that like with your parents?
Honestly, like, they were very like laissez-faire when they were parenting me. Like, they cared and stuff, and they got me out of a lot of bad shit that I would like do. Like, I know I wasn't that bad of a kid, but they definitely were involved. But like, no, they didn't really, they kind of let me figure out shit for myself. Like, as is probably a surprise to nobody, I never got spanked or grounded. So I don't know. I just learned my own lessons. Like, they would tell me like, hey, don't do this, or this is okay, but this isn't okay. And they would just trust me to learn that on my own. And sometimes I would learn lessons the hard way. Other ways I would just, just take what they said and trust it. Like, for example, they're like, don't do drugs. And they just had to tell me one time, never did drugs. And, don't drink, never drunk. So shit like that.
Nice. Very nice.
Like, they don't really, yeah, they trusted me. And I think that's what led me to be who I am today, whether that's bad or good. So
that's good. I mean, it's always intriguing to me to find out how the upbringing was, because like I said in past streams, it kind of like reflects on what you just said, like who you are nowadays and possibly even link or connect the reasons why you chose to do what you're doing nowadays. You know what I mean? So that's good, bro.
Yeah, no, they gave me a lot of independence growing up. Like, even if I would be like 14 or something, I just told them, hey, I'm out right now. And they would just be okay with it because they trusted me and shit. So that's good. And then, you know, my parents were always involved in like my sporting events and whatnot. And they would come to like pretty much every game. So, you know, I'm really thankful to have them.
So they were very supportive. They were very,
Yep.
very, you know, they pretty much pushed you towards the right direction, you know, because sports, it involves discipline, it involves focus, it involves, you know, being like pretty much giving your best 110% every time.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's good. Like your parents pushed you and steered you towards that direction because that does reflect, you know, like when you do your catches, especially lately, these last few catches, especially the last one, it kind of does reflect some of those values right there. So that's good, bro.
Yeah, just work hard, man. That's what it is.
All right, now tell me a little bit about like your personal like childhood, like through like school, all the way from obviously from where you can remember up until like the last thing, you know, like high school, college, and all that stuff. How was your experience as a child and preteen and teen and all that stuff?
All right, so I went to this school right here for elementary. I'm just like, there's like a little park right here that you can just do whatever at. So I'm just here across the street from my parents' house. But yeah, I went right here for school. I'm not gonna say the name, but this was my elementary new building. But yeah, elementary was fun. I was like always one of the louder kids and shit. You know, people would. It's the same way it is on YouTube now. People would either really love me or really hate me, and there's really no in between. Like I was just always been outspoken and said my opinion on shit. And yeah, no, I had a really good time, and I had a really good time at school, just in general. Like every year was like fun for me. And what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I've always been into sports and shit. Started playing football in 5th grade. I was horrible, and you know, I was better at basketball at first. Actually, I was still just as chubby and shit, but I was actually better at basketball. But then I started getting good at football because I started like. My dad would make me go run and shit because I was a little bit of a lazy ass. So he'd make me go run. And ever since then, my childhood from like 6th grade on, you know, I started 5th grade, but 6th grade is when I started like exercising and shit. 6th grade on, my childhood, basically up to senior year of high school and, you know, freshman year of college, it was just about football pretty much. And just whatever I would do would be gravitated around that, just working towards being a better player and kicking the guy in front of me his ass and shit. So, yeah.
All right, so bring me up to speed. Now that you're mentioning all the football stuff,
Yeah.
like the last.
Wait, one more thing.
Yep.
Also, funny tangent about 5th grade. I was voted in the yearbook most likely to be president. So.
Oh, interesting.
Always wanted to do that too. Yeah, I think I'd be a great president. So that's definitely a goal of mine one day to run for office and shit.
Now, out of curiosity, not to you know lash on you or nothing like that, but just out of curiosity, what characteristics would you say that you know would help you get to that kind of position, like presidency? Honesty. Okay.
Yeah, not being afraid to say the truth and shit, not giving a fuck what other people think. Like definitely that. Like there's definitely videos going around on Twitter of me saying a certain 6-letter word that will probably get me canceled from even running. But I mean, screw it. One can hope, right? So, yeah. But definitely honesty. I think people can gravitate towards that for sure.
All right. I have to ask that because I know people are already like scratching their heads like, wait, what do you mean? Like how? Why? Why would you make a good president? And it's true. Honesty. Listen, let me clarify something to certain people. All right.
Yeah.
The fact that when we're honest, okay, as individuals, and we come off as rude or disrespectful to other people that don't agree with our thoughts or our opinions is a whole nother story altogether. But the fact that you're able to hold your own and say your piece and not retract or change whatever you say, you know, it's a big, pretty much it shows people like who you really are, and it shows people like your character, you know, your personality, and I think that's like really good. A lot of people are lacking in that area, honestly. So,
oh, absolutely. It's a symptom. It's a symptom of 2020, man. There's too much groupthink going on. Like, if one person thinks this and makes it cool to think that, then other people just blindly follow this one thought or whatever without doing their own research or without coming to their own conclusion. And I think social media is a big part of that. Like, if somebody has a lot of followers, or if somebody is has a platform, if you're a fan of that person, or if you think the person's cool, whether it's a politician or whoever, you're just going to agree with whatever they say, even if they're kind of fucking you. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you just got to be able to think for yourself and be your own leader. That's
good. That's good. And that's a good advice for all the younger generation, like, because I think, I don't know, this is my personal opinion. The younger generation nowadays, they rely and trust way too much on news and like social media and all that, and they don't do like further investigation for themselves and analyze information and like weigh it back and forth with what has more concrete evidence and proof, and what's more reliable source. You know what I mean? And kind of like, even if it goes to a rabbit hole, follow that rabbit hole. As long as it takes, go get the real proof, the real truth. So
yeah, like I can't imagine saying something. Without knowing that it's true. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just put something out there that I'm not sure is not true. Like,
exactly.
I don't want to retract anything I say. So I want to make sure like I'm saying with some balls behind it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And as I shouldn't be doing this right now, but I'm gonna do it just because it's a good thing that they said. NY Creep said, something real true. He said, "I'd rather hear the ugly truth," and that's what it is. Even if we don't like it, if it is indeed the truth, then yeah, I would rather like hear the truth before anything else. But yeah, moving on with other questions. I was gonna ask the last bit of your football career. Can you talk about that? Can you go in depth about who were you surrounded by in your team? How was your treatment towards them and vice versa? And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I'll just talk about my senior year and freshman year of college and shit. So junior year, I had a pretty bad year. I was like 220 pounds. I used to be like, I haven't always been a fat ass. You know what I mean? I was like pretty skinny playing offensive line my junior year. So that summer, I would legit, going into senior year, like summer 2017, I would legit eat like, I kid you not, I had 11 bean burritos from Taco Bell, and then a Crunchwrap Supreme, like for lunch one day. And then I would have like, the next day would be like 3 Subway footlongs. Like, I would just eat like a motherfucker just to gain the weight. And I ended up getting to 240 for my senior year. And senior year, I balled out. Y'all can always go check my highlights. The proof is on the tape. But, after that, there were schools that were interested in shit, and I ended up playing at Texas Southern, which is a small Division I school here in Houston. And so I guess what you're referring to is, I was like the only white kid pretty much everywhere and shit, like especially in high school. And I went to an HBCU for my 1 year of college, football and shit. And even there was less white people on my high school team than there was at my HBCU school. So, if you're wondering like where I get the race jokes from and shit, it was literally from freaking high school. And, because I would be called like white boy and shit. And, they'd make like white jokes to me, which I thought were hilarious, by the way. Like, I had no problem with those. And, like, you kind of got to defend yourself or hit back at them. So, then I got to just make mine more clever and funny and shit, because I'm like, the only one. And, people loved me for it and also hated me for it. But, I have a really like awesome group of friends and shit. Like, the people that do predator posters with me, I've been with them for like years, and still once in a while, some of my offensive line buddies come do a video with us, so it's like, it's really nice. I really loved high school and shit, and I really loved my teammates. And college wasn't as fun to me, because I compare like high school football to having a girlfriend, and college football to being married. Like, high school football, it's you're having the pleasure of hitting somebody, but you don't really got to have all the strings attached. You know what I mean? Like, just like when you have a girlfriend, you got the pleasure of fucking somebody, but it's without really any strings attached. But then college football, it was legit like a full-time job. And I'd have to be at the school, like literally probably like 12 hours a day. you know, and most of it was football related shit. And yeah, so I realized probably that maybe it wasn't like the love of the game that kept me doing this. Maybe it was just like the competitiveness and being able to do something together with your friends that you like. So I think that's why Predator Poachers is super fun for me, because it's the same type of thing. You just have your friends that you're doing this with and going through all this shit with, and you're fighting for a common goal, you know? So I think that aspect, like I don't miss practices or anything. And freaking in college football, we would legit do like 2 miles worth of sprints. Like obviously not all at once,
Of course.
but legitimately like tons and tons of fucking sprinting. Like I guess it's probably not 2 miles, but like 24 100-yard dashes. And then we would go hit squats in the weight room. Like that shit was insane. And I just woke up one day and I was like, ah, fuck this shit. And once you fall out of love with it, you just can't even bring yourself to do it. So it was weird. It was weird. You just got to have that mentality. So, yeah.
All right, and that's good, bro. Like the reason why, and I'm sure a lot of people already know why I asked the question, and I'm glad you answered what you did.
Yeah.
But it's because a lot of people like get it like wrong with you. You know, they assume because of the type of way you joke around on your catches or just like random live streams.
Yeah.
They assume like the worst, you know what I'm saying, without really knowing what was happening before all this on YouTube. You know, you pretty much you're surrounded by other people from other races that, like you said earlier, would joke on you and call you names. You didn't take it the wrong way. You didn't take it personal.
Yeah.
You just went ahead and said, okay, cool. I see how it is. So if that can happen with me, then I'm assuming that, you know, I have some type of right to joke around back at you. Not with any ill intentions, but just like, just because you crack a joke on me, I'm gonna crack a joke on you. Like, enough said.
Yeah, it's legit. It's legit all love, man. I know I'm not like the best at roasting people, but I mean, I think I'm pretty okay at it. And yeah, it just comes from high school. Like my dad would pick everybody up after practice and shit, and we would just be driving like everybody home, and just in the car we would just say horrible shit to each other. And you know, like that's where it comes from. You just got to think of something quick to say, and you know, it's cool having your friends in the car with you going like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, so I mean, that's where it comes from. And then, you know, then we would see each other, like just me and my friends, like every day out of school pretty much. We would just hoop or some shit. And yeah, it's just a really close bond. And you should be able to joke around with people, because what happens when you know, the liberal PC white people come and say, oh, you can't say this because it might offend somebody. Well, in that case, if you don't want to say a certain word or a certain joke because it could offend somebody, you know what you do? You stop hanging out with them because you don't want to walk on eggshells. You want to hang out with people you're comfortable around. So if I'm told, hey, don't make race jokes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to only hang out with white people, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to walk on eggshells around others. You know, I want to be with people that I'm comfortable with. But when you can make any joke you want about anything, then you're comfortable with everybody. And that, luckily, thank God, I'm so happy that I grew up the way I did, because that was my childhood. You know, we were all just comfortable with each other, and we knew that there was nothing we could say that would piss each other off, and that just brought us closer together.
Let me just say this, along with what you just said. First of all, I'm Puerto Rican, right? And my race is a mix of African, Indian, European, and Spaniard. Okay, so technically, up to a very high percentage, because I've checked it before, I'm considered in many areas black. Okay, so I'm not saying I'm black. I'm just saying that DNA it tells me within my race that I'm a certain high percentage of black origin. Okay, and you know, you and me have talked before. And you know, you've called me something before on a direct messages or private chats, and I knew ahead of time that you were playing around, that you're joking around.
Yeah,
you know, did I take it serious? Did I take it hard? Like, I laughed it off. You know what I'm saying? Because my grandfather once said, people are only what's the word? Offended if they allow themselves to be. Now, let me say this before I keep moving forward, because I know people are gonna be like all crazy in the chat area. Every race and everybody, every individual deserves respect. You know what I'm saying? Everybody should be respected. Everybody should, not joke around in a hurtful way, okay? Purposely, all right? Like if I'm ill-intended, purposely, like calling you a certain name, which most of your race would find offensive, then okay. But if you and me are friends, you know what I'm saying? And I do that out of just pure joking around, and you know that I'm joking around with you personally, then it should be like all good, because I'm playing around. And like we said earlier, you crack a joke on me, I'm gonna crack a joke on you. Especially if we're friends. So
yeah, and that was one of the shocking things of the internet. Like, I guess you could say I've been on the internet for like a year and 3 months, and well, obviously, I was like, had a presence on the internet for like a year and 3 months. And the biggest shock to me was just how many pussies are just in the world, man. Like, it really just opened up because, I'm just so used to being in my area for my whole life. And now I'm like connecting with people all over the world, and just, God, dude, honestly, the amount of pussies, man. I just, like, people that are getting offended over shit. Like, I can't even comprehend how they could be offended over some stuff. Like, I can't even empathize with it, because I just, like, what would just be a freaking simple ass joke in my high school, these people like across the country are just such pussies, man. Like, I just don't understand how people get offended, dude. I really don't get it. But I guess everybody's different, and my YouTube channel isn't for Southwest Houston. It's for like the whole world. So that was the biggest shock to me, like starting a YouTube channel. Like, not everybody would receive me well and shit.
Yeah. But once again, anything and everything you have said thus far, you have little to no retraction at all, if anything. So that just proves a point. Like, you don't feel bad only because, to your knowledge and your belief, is like you're not doing anything like wrong, and so you're not going to retract. So I respect that. I'm not saying that that I'm for certain things that you say and do.
Right.
Let's make sure we have that clear on the stream, and you know this, and I've told you before. There's certain things you say and do that I'm not, I don't 100% agree with, but at the same time, yeah, exactly. That's what makes friends actual friends. Like, when you have differences and yet you're still working towards the same goal and walking towards the same direction. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. But anyways,
absolutely.
Moving on from that, because I know that's going to stir up more drama in the chat area. Yeah. But just to clarify and confirm here, Alex is not racist. He loves everybody equal, and he treats everybody as equals, and that's why when he says certain things, it may come off as offensive or whatever, but it's because he's treating everybody as equals. So, take it with a grain of salt, if you will, but that's just the way it is. All right, so next question. Now, here we go with the actual predator poacher questions, okay?
All right.
So now, when exactly, because I know I've kind of heard bits and pieces of this before, but I just want your chronological timeline of how things went down. When exactly did you be like, I'm gonna start, catching online child predators and pedophiles? How did that go about? Even spawning, if you will.
All right, so so college football had just ended, spring football, and school was out, so they gave us 3 weeks off, and that whole school year, I didn't even eat out one time, no ice cream, no chips. I took it extremely seriously. And I promised myself, on the last day of school when it's all over, I would just freaking just go all out and just pig out, just be done. But and I would just stay up late because my bedtime would be 10 p.m. and shit. Then on weekends it'd be 1 a.m. So I was just I kept extremely disciplined. But now that it was summer and I had a few weeks off, I just going to bed at 6 a.m. and shit. I was just so ready for a break. And I started watching these predator videos. I knew about To Catch a Predator already, and I would watch it from time to time. But I started watching Justin Payne, Pop Squad, Anxiety War, and more To Catch a Predator. And like, I just thought it was fascinating. Like, it looked really fun. And I was just sitting home one night and I was pretty bored. And I was like, screw it. I'm gonna go do this. Because I always wanted to be a cop too and shit. And, you know, police academies not till you're 21. So, you know,
Hold on. So hold on, and I'm sorry to have to pause you on that, but okay. So now that you brought that up, how long have you been wanting to be a cop for? You know?
Oh, since high school, like probably since like freshman, sophomore year, I've always wanted to do that. Like pretty much, basically all my teenage years.
Awesome. So it's pretty much like I don't want to say like a lifelong dream because you're still young, but
Right.
it's a current dream and goal of yours. I think like an end game for you would be that to become an actual police officer, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, good. Do you have any plans like to follow through with that? Like, have you like you just said right now you can't go into the police academy until you're 21, which obviously means that you're younger than that.
Right.
What is your age actually? I keep forgetting sometimes.
March 15th, 2000. I'm 20 years old.
20 years old. So you're almost there. Have you? What have you done thus far to be like, okay, so when my birthday hits, this is what I'm gonna do to follow through with the whole cop thing?
Nothing yet necessarily. Like, obviously plans have changed. Like, if you told me like in May 2019 that I'd be catching predators a year later and like be on YouTube and shit, I would say, what the fuck are you talking about? But stuff's changed. Like, I'm like doing well for myself and shit. And I've made a lot of connections along the way doing this. And there's like people, well, a person I should say, that's like interested in offering me like a radio job, not like on air and shit, but starting off as a promoter, like kind of entry level. And he found me because of predator poachers. So I'm thinking if I could just do that and also do predator poachers, I think I'd be better off than if I was just a police officer, because I don't want to be a cop for the paycheck. I just want to be a cop because I want to be a cop. Like, I don't want to have to like raise a family if I don't have to on a cop salary. You know what I mean? So just those two for now. And I didn't get my associate's degree yet, which you need to at least go into HPD. So you can either have an associate's degree or work full time for 3 years. So I'm thinking I might do this radio if this goes through. I might do this radio shit for at least 3 years along with predator poachers and just see what I want to do at that point. But eventually, yeah, I will be a cop one day for sure. That's what I want to do.
Awesome. Give me 1 second because trying to kind of like correct the chat area and tell them to leave the questions for after the interview. Like I said many times before the interview started, and that's no offense to anybody. That's just me, clarifying that in the chat area. All right, so hold on. Let me ask you this: do you think you'll be more effective if you stay as a predator poacher, as far as catching the predators and pedophiles go, or you think you would be more effective if you were an actual law enforcement?
Oh, I'd be more effective doing this because when you're actual law enforcement, being in the sex crimes division, that's like a promotion. You know what I mean? That's like, for example, the sex crimes detective that works with me in HPD, he was on patrol for, if I remember correctly, like over 20 years before he did this. So, I don't really want to pull over people that are going a little bit fast because I'm the last one to talk about that. I hit 110 in a minivan on country roads and shit. So like, I don't want to be a hypocrite and pull people over for that. And also, like, I'm definitely not a pothead, and I think all that shit's like degenerate and gay as fuck. But I don't want to pull over. I don't want to freaking get people for drugs either. You know what I mean? Like, I actually want to do stuff that's actually going to benefit the world. So I think doing predator poachers is more beneficial than being a highway patrol. You know what I mean? But eventually, I will be highway patrol because I do want to go into sex crimes eventually. But yeah, as of now, this is way more effective.
Yeah. And would you also say that because you're a regular like civilian, it gives you a bit more freedom as well, like when you're doing these catches and confrontations?
Yeah. I mean, anybody can do these, I guess, but yeah, no. But if I want, it does give me more freedom to do it. Like, it's not illegal to go confront somebody. It's not even illegal to catfish somebody, like, by like entrapping them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, 14, I'm down to fuck, then go confront them, and nothing can happen to me. But What was I going to say? More freedom. Well, if I want to get them arrested, or at least help get them arrested, I don't have more freedom because I have to still chat the way that they want me to chat, which I do. My chats are always like good and shit. But I guess with maybe I do, because with confrontations, I can just be a smartass to them, and there's still a chance that they can get arrested and shit like that, which a cop could not do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, no, it's pretty similar to what cops would have to do, like when it comes to like the chatting and shit. So yeah, I'd say maybe halfway more freedom.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I wanted to find out, because like I'm aware that certain things are a little easier when you're like a regular civilian versus being like law enforcement. Like, for example, the whole entrapment law does not apply to normal civilians. So that's one of the things that kind of does help. But at the same time, if you want to have the whole prosecution and all that stuff go through, then it is better to be like actual law enforcement. That does help a lot. So it's kind of like, you know, it's in the balance of things. It's like 50-50 almost. But yeah. All right. So let me ask you another question. When you started this, did you ever think it was going to expand as much as it has nowadays? Like the whole like franchise branches?
No, I literally had no plan. Like, I just did this just to do it. Like, I was just like, I called up my friend Jordan, like the first night. I was like, "Hey, you want to go catch this pedophile with me?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And yeah, no, I literally had no plan. I had no idea it would be this big. Like, I mean, I just barely turned 19. I had no freaking clue any of this would happen, and it's been like a pleasant surprise and shit. And I've been learning as I go and taking shit in stride. Like, it's such a, like, regardless, it's like a unique situation to be in at 20 years old. And it feels kind of weird because like there's like freaking 99.99% of the population at my age isn't like in this situation. So it's just, I don't know. I had no clue, but I enjoy it though. Like, most of us would probably be at work or school right now, and
Oh. Oh man. All right. Hello. Can you hear me?
you hear me?
So last thing we heard you say was most of us would be in work or school right now, and then it got cut off.
Yeah, no, like most of us would be like in work or school right now, and I'm just here, just like walking back and forth like a freaking pedo at this elementary school and shit. So I mean, it's a nice situation to be in, you know.
Yep. And I congratulate you for this. Okay. For at your age, like you, pretty much what you're saying, at your age, the fact that you're out here doing or attempting to, or even actually doing something beneficial to the community that surrounds you and other communities in other cities and states, that says a lot about, you know, your character and who you are and what you want to see in the world. Because a lot of, you know, people around your age, they're focused on just like gaming or just work and school or just hanging out with their friends, you know. But here you are, you know what I'm saying, at your age, over here out of your personal time, saying, "Yo, let me put some of these, hopefully put behind bars, some of these like online child predators, these online child pedophiles," and you know, it's a serious deal because once again, most people your age are that's not even on their mind. That's not even in their vicinity of thoughts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I love doing this and stuff. So I mean, no regrets. I'm freaking happy that I'm in this position because I don't know. Yeah, I like being here. So it's cool.
So you're happy and proud that thus far the whole franchise has moved forward and expanded, multiplied, and now, even though you didn't start out with that plan, now that it's happened, do you hope that it keeps spreading and growing, or you know, what's your goal and plan for this point forward, as far as your franchise goes?
So right now, I like the core group of guys that we have. They all care about what they do, and they all love catching predators. And like that's going forward, that's who I'm going to look for. I'm just going to wait till we grow more before I add more people in, because obviously I've been a dumbass a lot of times with this whole franchise thing, letting a lot of idiots in. You know, like a fucking scammer, a stolen valor guy, and there's another more delusional people that they don't really care about actually catching predators. You know what I mean? Like, is that CC Unit commenting? Me and him talk about this. Like, a lot of people don't love catching predators, I should say. Like, people want to join predator poachers that don't really care about catching predators. They just want a cool YouTube channel that's going to have like a few thousand followers pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Like, I'd say I'm looking for people when I start to look for people. I'm looking for people that actually love catching predators. Like that would catch predators without the predator poacher's name. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody comes at me with like 4 catch videos and says, "Hey, I think it'd be cool if I could join up with y'all," I would say, "Hell yeah, for sure." But you gotta love doing this, because if you don't love doing this, you're not gonna be around. You're not gonna be around long, because as much as I joke and shit, we see some pretty nasty stuff and deal with like the scum of the earth. And yeah, no, you gotta love it.
So you get that in your eyes and opinion, which I agree 100% with. The person reaching out to you and saying, "Hey man, can I join? Can I be a part of this movement?" You have to be able to tell and see, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that they're actually passionate about not having their channel, say promoted, but having the actual chance and opportunity to hopefully put some of these guys away behind bars, or at the very least on the sex offenders list. Be like, yeah, I could see that passion in you. I can tell you're really about that part of the whole situation, as opposed to just getting like recognition and promotion. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you really care about what you do, then the recognition and promotion will come. Because I'm not gonna lie, that part's extremely cool too. Like, it's nice being able to press live and then have 200 people that are interested in what you have to say. You know what I mean? But that's not what it should be about, first and foremost. Like, that is your reward for caring about what you do and actually loving what you do and following through with what counts.
Exactly.
So, and I think people are just like, think it's all glamour and think it's all great and clout this, clout that. Yeah, I don't want those people in predator poachers, because they don't really love what they do.
All right.
It's like the same, like in high school and shit. There would be these retards that would freaking join the football team just to get their stupid ass varsity jacket, and they would come to one practice or whatever, or playing like the minimal amount of games needed for the jacket, and then they would go on their Instagram, put football in their number in their bio, and they would, and even in college, there was just people that would try out for the team that would just only care about like the clout. Like, they just want to go up to a girl and just say, "Oh, I do this. Pull down your pants and shit." You know what I mean? Like, shit like that.
Whoa.
And I think that shit's trash, bro. Like, if you just want, okay, how do I put this? Let's see. Like, okay, do you want to poach predators? Okay, hold on. Do you want to become a predator poacher, or do you want to poach predators? And I think the majority of people that hit me up just want to be a predator poacher. They don't really want to poach predators,
Gotcha. That's a very good way of actually putting it. That's
exactly.
a wise thing to say, bro.
Yeah. So be about it before you come to me, Very
good. Now let me ask you this. Because of that, okay, because of a lot of people wanted to just be in it for the name and all that stuff, have you been like extra cautious with who you allow to join from this point forward, or are you still open-minded?
Oh, I'm doing what Trump should have done, like in January. When I see a virus come infect my little country, I'm shutting down all the borders. So nobody's coming in right now. You know what I mean? There's nobody's being let in until the virus, I think, goes away. Until I can get over the fact that I let in a bunch of idiots, which is my fault.
Nice, very nice. So you are being extra cautious. That's good, bro. That's good.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now for another question that kind of connects the whole like predator poacher thing with other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
From your first catch up until your last catch, what has changed about how you go about doing your confrontations and catches? What have you learned along the way? What have you modified? What have you done better, in your opinion? And what can you actually better from here on out?
Okay, so definitely the one thing that's gotten better is I've been, quote, more and more professional. I just think that comes with doing it more and getting older, I guess you could say. And, you know, instead of just screaming in the store, which I still do sometimes, depending on, you know, I mean, we haven't really been doing Walmart catches because they've been closing early and shit, but like definitely more, try to get more answers out of them and try to fit in making fun of them. Cause I just truly just like love to make fun of people, like make fun of them while getting answers out of them. And I think I've been doing a better job of that and shit. Cause it used to either be like, just either make fun of them or, and then that's it. There would be like no answers. And I think people are interested in both. So, and I'm interested in both as well. So, you know, that, and also it does help the cops when they're interested. It does help them to have a confession. Like, for example, if I was just in the mall calling Brad like a Make-A-Wish kid and shit, then the cops likely wouldn't prosecute him just based on the chats, you know, like they would still get him for the CP, but they wouldn't prosecute him because there was no confession on camera, at least, you know, or it'd be harder for them. But, you know, if you can get a confession out of them, it makes it a lot easier for the cops to do their job too. You know what I mean?
Okay. Now, here's another question to add on to what you just said.
Yeah.
Because you do a lot of collaborations and you go from state to state sometimes, you know, like how much changes within like what the authorities ask for evidence, as far as, you know, you doing your catches in South Texas or California or, you know, any other place that you end up collaborating with another poacher with?
Oh, okay. So, before that, I just want to say, like, you know, learning from other people and shit, which, you know, I also, like, when I collab with CC Unit and shit, and I told him this, like, definitely part of it was to learn from him because he's definitely a better interviewer than I am. So, like, I just see how he does it, and I try to implement that into my videos and shit. Like, I'm always going to be able to make fun of somebody, but if I can get an answer out of them too, and then being next to CC Unit for a bunch of catches, it really helps me out. Like, it really helps me like interview them. Like, what is he asking? What is he doing? Like, how does he go through his chats? And he gave me the inspiration to print out the chat logs for Brad and shit. Like, you know, he doesn't print out chats, but like he goes through the chats. Like he pulls out his phone and scrolls through, like, and asks the predators, "You said this, so what do you have to say about that?" And I wouldn't have done that with Brad, and it would have been, and I probably wouldn't have had as good of a confession if it wasn't for like CC Unit. You know what I mean? Like, I just see like how he does shit. So. And yeah, and as for the other, as for like the other cities and shit, it's really, if it's a small town, they're gonna care. But if it's a big city, they're just not gonna care. Like San Antonio gives no fucks. Houston gives no fucks most of the time. And you know, if it's like a smaller place like Southeast Texas, they cared, but nothing, that kind of fell through. And then the Woodlands where I confronted Brad, like that's a small town, so they cared. You know what I mean? It's just if it's a small town with not much going on, they're gonna care. You know.
Now let me backtrack a little bit, okay? Because let me emphasize on something you said, okay? Because a lot of people need to hear this. You just mentioned that you, all right, do your best to pick up on how other poachers do their catches and confrontations and the evidence they provide and the evidence that they save. Once again, that speaks highly of your passion for what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? If that weren't the case, that you would have said that right now, you know, a lot of people wouldn't know like that you're actually trying your best to do your best, not only on the catches, but on how you approach the whole subject to begin with. Like, okay, what questions I should be asking, and you're learning all this from another fellow poacher, you know,
Right.
and that's a respect to you for saying that out loud to everybody, and that's respect for, you know, Ghost from CC Unit, because I'm sure, you know, he's had his fair share of trial and error, you know, as with all of you, and has learned things along the way, whether it be by himself or by also watching another poacher do the thing. And that's good, bro, that you're adapting, modifying to see like to what you see is better and more fit and more efficient on how you do your catches. So that's good, bro.
And that's another thing too. It just goes like a lot of people, especially now in the freaking participation trophy era of this failing country, thanks to Democrats and liberals. A lot of this whole participation trophy shit, it stops people from getting better. Like it stops people from looking in the mirror and saying, "Hey, I just got to get better at this. This isn't working right now. So let me try to work harder to do something else." But with how society is, It's just called, oh, no. Below average is okay. Here's your little trophy. Here's your pat on the back. And go be mediocre for the rest of your life. And I think that's a lot of it. Like, people are just scared to admit that they got to get better at something. Like, I freaking, like some catches I would look back at and just be like, damn, I really fucking did it this way. And you just got to get better at it. Like, just admit that you're wrong sometimes, or admit that you're just not as good as you could be, and work to get better. And I think most people just don't do that, because most people are just scared to face the truth,
Yeah. And, like, if it weren't for people like you with that mindset, that there's always room for improvement,
Right.
Especially in this movement and this field of, I guess, expertise, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
it would leave a lot of room for allowing these predators and pedophiles to have their way, because, if you don't learn from your mistakes and correct things that need to be corrected, then they'll have more room to figure more stuff out, to improve what they're doing. And, everything like would backfire, I guess, on you guys or whoever else is out there doing this thing. But so, yeah, also another question I have, and I've asked this to every poacher thus far.
Yeah.
Do you believe that because the possibility of these predators and pedophiles being online and watching these videos, taking notes, do you think that they overall are learning from you guys and kind of like trying to modify how they do their, what they do? Or do you think they're just altogether like backing down, like, oh crap, I don't want to be that next guy on another YouTube video. I should just chill, not do anything.
I think it's probably more of the, oh crap, I don't want to be on YouTube. I mean, there's some that do get better at being a predator. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But it's, in the end, you can't get every single one. And that's another delusion that people have nowadays. People think that, oh, well, if you just did it this way, you'd get every single one. Or if you did it like this, it would be better. Well, the thing is, people strive for perfection when perfection is not possible. So it's what's most optimal, not what is perfect. That's freaking being an idealist. You know what I mean? That's just being unrealistic. You got to be realistic with it. Like, in the end, do these videos hurt, or do these videos stop or enable more predators? And I can confidently say they stop more predators. Even if some become more careful, it stops a greater majority of them. You know what I mean? And being that being that stopping 100% of predators is impossible, you got to take what you're given, and that's just stopping most of them. You know what I mean?
Good. Very good answer, and very, I agree with that 100%. You're not gonna. There's no way, because of how many there are out there, and some are like in better hiding situations than others. You
Yeah.
can't guarantee anybody that you're gonna absolutely catch and prosecute every single one of them. But the fact that you guys are out there doing what you're doing adds an extra layer of security to a lot of people. A lot of people who were former victims right now watching you guys. A lot of people that are potential victims right now, and future victims that it gives them a sense of a little bit safer out on the streets, knowing that outside of the police and the authorities, there's other people out there watching out for them and trying to help do their best to make the streets safer for them to go on, and the online chat areas as well. So I think a lot of people look up to you guys and respect and love what you do and support what you do.
Yeah, and I think like what's not really talked about as much, these videos also help kids smarten up. Like, there's definitely 13 and 14-year-olds that watch these videos, and I'm sure they think to themselves, "Oh, really? I don't want someone like Brad to hang out with me." You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
he's doing all this. This sounds kind of gross. Like most people that are 13 and 14, like, they know, like, just don't talk to strangers online or really anywhere and shit. But the ones that are more curious, like, these videos definitely push them back into that spot. Like, hey, these people are dangerous. I probably shouldn't go meeting up with these people. Like, you know what I mean? So
Definitely.
I think it truly does help the kids and shit. And I think the number one way to save the kids from this is online predators, like real life predators, like in the family, that like molest kids, and I mean, it's fucked. it's hard to catch those guys, you know, or impossible. We just catch the ones that are online, and a lot of the ones online do have a pattern of molesting people. Like a good chunk have molested these people before, and victims have reached out to me saying, "Oh, this guy did this to me when I was this age," you know. But like, I think the number one way to protect kids is have the kids protect themselves. Like, educate them. Just say, "Hey, if this stranger is hitting you up that you don't know, block them immediately. Then there would be no need." Like, the block button is such a easy, powerful tool, and I just think it needs to be used more. I think that's the number one way before police or us have to step in and do something about it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
because let me also say this. I mean, I know most of you guys, you know, you and the other branches out there,
yeah.
would like to keep doing this up until your last breath, if possible. But
Yeah.
at the same time, you would even be like a little bit happier and more at peace if children would learn, you know what I'm saying, like for themselves, like, okay, so I've seen plenty of these catches and these confrontations,
Right.
and I kind of have like an idea of what a predator would sound like on these chat areas and all that. So I should know from this point forward, if I do get hit up by any of them on the chat and different applications, I know to just like block them or report them their account. And thus far, like, I know you guys would appreciate that on the kids' ends. Now, I have to always ask this: what about the parents, though? Do you believe the parents should even allow minors to have some of these apps on their phones and mobile devices, or should they give them the freedom to have those apps, but just monitor them a lot more than what they already do?
I mean, Grinder and Scout, shit like that we use to catch them. Like, fuck. I mean, a lot of kids don't even know about these apps. Like, I didn't even know what the hell they were back when I was like 14. But I mean, I've seen like probably, if I had to guess, like probably 10, 14-year-olds on Grinder, like from my year and a half doing this and shit. Like, there's not a ton of kids on these apps, but there's definitely enough to where it's like, this is kind of worrying. And for like, we came across a 13-year-old girl on Scout and shit, and we're just like, God damn. But should the parents ban the apps? I mean, yeah, I wouldn't let my kids have Grindr or Scout on their phone. But as for like Omegle and like, just, I don't know, I guess kind of like Roblox and shit. Like, for example, that's where Brad said he played with the 8-year-old that he abused and shit. I mean, it's a tough question, but I would let them have those apps. Like, obviously not dating apps, but like just chatting apps, I guess you could say, or like games online. I would let them have it because, you know, predators take kids' childhood away, but then again, I don't want to take their childhood away either. Obviously, right. In that regard, it'd be way less bad than a predator doing something to them. But, you know, I also want to give them the freedom and let them be smart enough to know that, hey, you can enjoy playing a game online,
right,
without having to succumb to a predator. And I would educate them, and I would probably monitor it. But yeah, no, I would let them have it because, you know, in the end, kids are going to be kids, and yeah, I don't want to be a helicopter parent at all. And I think potentially being a helicopter parent, like, kids aren't stupid; they're going to find a way around. So I think this is kind of how I was raised and shit. Like, I had no interest in ever trying drugs or ever drinking because my parents just said it was bad, and they didn't try to stop me from doing it. But when you're stopped from doing something, you're curious about what it's like. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, well, why is this so bad? Let me see how it's like. But then, you know, when you have the opportunity to go do it, and you're already told that's bad, but nobody's stopping you from doing it, you just you make that own decision to kind of stray away from it. You know what I mean?
All right. So along with everything you said, which it was really good answer, and a lot of people in the chat area are agreeing with you with what you're saying. There are tools for parents that they can install on their phone and their children's phone to not have to like be on them literally, you know, like you said, helicopter parent.
Yeah.
But it does notify the parent if that child, you know, comes across like someone unknown, to the point where they're like, okay, who is this? And, you know, like, why are they talking to my child at this time of the day or night or whatever? and it gives the parents a little like chance to or opportunity to kind of like, like check on their children, make sure that everything's okay. Would you be one of those parents that has that installed on the devices just to like not be personally on top of the child, but at the same time be aware of what's going on, or do you think that's a bit much?
Oh shit! I think that's probably. Yeah, that's probably not something that I would do. I would physically check their phone maybe when they're asleep from time to time, but I would trust my kid, honestly. Like, I think when a kid feels that he has greater responsibility, like when he's trusted, then he's going to act more like a big boy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I think if I was, like, obviously check from time to time, but I think if I was more like hands off and just set the expectations immediately and then just let them do what they got to do, I think that would actually make my kid smarter because he has more of a responsibility in his hands and he'll use that responsibility to be smart about it. So yeah, I don't think I'd do that either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. That's good. That means that, in other words, well, I don't want to say blindly. You want to hope that whatever you teach your children ahead of time, when you have your children, like, hey, this is the world that we living in. There's these type of people out there who do this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
Just watch your back. Protect yourself at all times. If you do come across something that is off, just let me know. Let your mom know, whatever, and we'll be there for you. But I'm not gonna be, you know what I'm saying? I'm not always gonna be there. So just keep that in mind as well. Is that more or less the concept?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, that's good. I just want to make sure people understood, even though you were pretty straightforward, but there's always going to be people out there trying to change words around and all that stuff. So, all right. So
just let kids themselves, man. Like give them the tools they need. And if they come to realizations, at least this is how I was, if they come to realizations on their own, then they're going to stick with that for the rest of their life. Like if I came to the realization that I shouldn't drink or smoke. Yeah, my parents told me, but I came to that realization, like, yeah, I shouldn't be doing that on my own. You know what I mean? And there's nobody checking my bag for weed and shit. I just came to that realization I should just not be doing like drugs and shit.
Exactly.
And now my parents can't tell me shit. I still don't do drugs and I still don't drink. So I think letting kids find out shit on their own, obviously not going to meet with somebody or not talking with a predator, but like just finding out that predators are bad. You know what I mean? Like finding out like, hey, shit can be dangerous, like let the light go off in their own head. And it's, to use an analogy, it's kind of like with the whole Rami situation. Like I was telling truth after truth after truth about this idiot, and people still weren't like believing it, or still weren't like really receptive to it. But as soon as they see how he is himself, as soon as they see him bullying the headphone guy, as soon as they see him like talking shit about his cameraman, as soon as they see him like freaking like belittling somebody into donating $500, they saw that on their own. I didn't have to tell them shit about that. They saw how he is. And then they came to that realization themselves, and now they're like educated on it, despite everything I said. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't even matter what I said because they found it out themselves. So I think that's how it is.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. So let me ask you another question that kind of strays away from what we were just talking about. But okay, so right now, as far as your channel goes, as far as the movement goes, what are your personal like next steps? Like what are your future plans with all this that you're doing?
I'd say there's no set goal. There's just moving forward. Because if you set it, I think in something like this, if you set a goal, that's just not the maximum you can be. Like the goal is infinity. You know what I mean? Because there's always going to be predators and shit. So until every single predator is off the streets, there is no stopping this. And there will never be a time when every single predator is off the street. So there is no stopping this. But eventually, I do want to run for office one day. And, it would be under the platform of stopping child predators. So, and I think that's something we can all unite on. Like, not, like the laws are, I don't want to say they're completely fucked. I just think they're not enforced. Like one thing I would change is I would make it illegal to meet up with somebody off the internet, regardless if it's for sex or not. Like meeting up with an underage kid off the internet, whether it's for sex or not. Because if y'all see my last video, we confronted a guy in his like halfway house, and he invited his 12-year-old girlfriend over, and he didn't say he wanted to have sex. He just wanted her to sneak in the house at midnight. And we all know what that means, but technically he didn't even break a law, and that's what's wrong with that, you know? You shouldn't be able to solicit a 12-year-old girl off the fucking internet to go over to your house, no matter what it's for, you know? So shit like that, I would want changed, and that's what I would do when I run for office. Hopefully people vote for me, which, you know, I think they will. But, you know, just keep going, keep making a difference, be the change. Because honestly, like, dude, some old white man in office doesn't give a fuck about you. You got to be the change yourself, you know? And I don't even think protesting works most of the time, you know? I just think if you truly want something changed, then go do it yourself. Don't rely on somebody else to do it for you. Like, do you really think some dude with a pen and paper in his hand gives a fuck about what you have to say? He doesn't even know who you are. So if you want something changed, then you'd go do it yourself. Because other than that, in my opinion, it's just, you're just virtue signaling, just trying to look good. I don't think you're really about it unless you go do it. So, yeah.
Yep. And that's why a lot of people, you know, respect you and everybody else involved with the predator poacher like movement, is they're actively out there doing something. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, yeah, they're against the whole like child predator situation and the child trafficking and human trafficking, and they're like, oh, that's terrible, like that should not be happening, like I really wish this would stop. But like, what are you really out there doing, like, to make the change? You know what I mean? There is a phrase out there on the internet that I saw it beforehand, like when I was working in Bozeman. I think it was last year. I saw like a tattoo on one of my coworkers on their arm, and it said like, "Be the change you want to see in the world." And it just literally like it blew my mind, because you know we all think about that. You know, we have that kind of phrase similar in our head, but just seeing it out in the open, you know, on someone's like tattoo or whatever, you know, it really. I was like, whoa, those are some big words, because honest to God, if everybody did their part individually, all right, and everybody took care of their well-being, their mental health, their spiritual health, and all this other stuff, a lot of things that we see go on in the streets, whether it be crimes or other stuff, we wouldn't be seeing them, because everybody is literally like looking out for themselves and doing their part to literally see the positive change that we all want to see in the world, you know?
Yeah, like it's like just worry about yourself. Like, being selfish isn't selfish, because if you just worry about yourself, and I think everything would be better. But people are so hell-bent on thinking what's really selfish is thinking, oh, somebody else is just going to take care of this for me. Somebody else is going to do this. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm more than happy to serve the community, I guess, if you want to call it a community service. But, you know, don't rely on me. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to stop online predators, then go stop online predators. Don't think I'm the only one that can go do it. Like, if you're passionate about it, then just go do it. You know what I mean? Like, like be the change you want to see, you know?
All right. So let me ask you this. Going off of what you just said, a lot of people, and we kind of covered this a little bit earlier, but I want you to kind of like expand on it and like speak your piece and kind of like share your heart with everybody.
Yeah.
A lot of people that watch some of your videos and other videos concerning predator poachers, they, you know, along with me at the beginning, you know, they were like turned off, you know, because of certain ways you would handle the catches, you know, a lot of fun involved and all that. You know, you are out there doing these confrontations and catches, and these are just speculators watching everything unfold and see the finished results or whatever. But you know, kind of like tell those people who say, oh, you know, yeah, he's out there doing this, but he's not taking it seriously or whatever. Like, you know, what do you got to say to those people that have that mindset of like, because let me say this before you answer, like, I do strongly agree that these people, you know, should be shamed to a certain degree and should be put in a position of embarrassment because not only are they doing things that are illegal, but who knows how many times they were doing it before they got caught. So there should be some level of embarrassment and shame, you know what I'm saying, to them. So, but what do you got to say to those people who you know, aren't happy with that, and with your old practice, if you will?
Well, I mean, that's fine. They can think that. I don't really care. But yeah, I'll say, you know, they can have their opinion. And the fact is, I know I'm right. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't shit. But I would say this, like, a lot of people get mad at me for bullying and shit. But I've said this before, but bullying isn't inherently bad. Bullying is a verb, just like kicking is a verb, just like sitting is a verb, just like shitting is a verb. You know what I mean? It's just another verb. So a verb can't be good or bad, you know? Like, killing isn't necessarily a good or bad word. Like, if you kill somebody that's, you know, trying to kill your family, like in your own house, then killing isn't a bad thing. But if you just go up to some random old lady and kill her, that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? So how does this not apply to bullying? If you're bullying somebody that's abused kids or that is out to abuse a kid, then how is that a bad thing? You know what I mean? Like, obviously, I wouldn't bully people that are just random. Well, I can't say that. But, you know, ideally, I wouldn't bully people that are just like random bystanders. You know what I mean? Or just, I wouldn't go up to somebody and just say, hey, you're a retard, you know? Like, it's just not practical. But if this guy is out to ruin a child's life, then he deserves to be bullied. And I'll say whatever I have to say to him. It doesn't matter. There shouldn't be any holding back in that regard, you know? And it's the same thing. Like, people use the argument of, oh, well, you're not bullying them for being a child predator. You're bullying because they're disabled or they're this or that. Well, that's not true. Just because I make a joke about their disability or make a joke about their glasses or how they look or whatever, that doesn't mean that I'm bullying them for that. I'm bullying them because they're a child predator. I would not be saying that stuff about their appearance if they were not a child predator. So that argument of, oh, you're bullying someone for this and not being a child predator, that's bullshit, because I'm bullying them in the first place because they're a child predator. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to ask that because, you know, a lot of people get it the wrong way. Like, you don't say it without intent. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a purpose behind you saying some of the things that you say to some of these predators. You know what I mean? And as someone said earlier,
yeah,
what was that?
It makes them cry. Like, I hope they feel shitty. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. And so, you know, some of these guys, you know, they have to, I don't like saying this, but they have to be like shown a high level of embarrassment because, you know, you just can't be out there like committing these crimes. There's got to be some point where someone calls you out on it in public. Heck, even I think somewhere in the Bible, all right, not to get spiritual here, but I think somewhere in the Bible it says like, hey, you know, if your brother commits a sin or whatever, talk about it in private and try to correct it. And if he continues to do so or whatever, then openly like talk about it. It's for the public shame, but to also help correct that person, because it's not the same thing doing things in private and being corrected versus being openly corrected in front of a lot of people and embarrassed to the point where you're like, damn, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Maybe I should rethink my priorities and all this stuff, you know?
Oh, exactly. Pretty much. If you're going to do something with privates, we're not going to talk about it in private. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's a public issue. So, and people can disagree with it, but that's their opinion. But, you know, it's my right to publicly shame them. And if I feel like I'm publicly shaming them for something good, that's my right to do that. And they can't say shit about it. Well, sure, they can say shit, but, you know, it's not going to change anything.
If they do, you know, it kind of lets them kind of project themselves as to be like predator sympathizers or, oh my goodness, the pedophile sympathizers, you know. And another thing, a lot of people, okay, within either the online community or outside the online community, like have a problem with this movement and what it stands for. And what it stands for is, at the end of the day, confront these guys and even women sometimes out there doing this, committing these illegal activity and crimes, and confronting them about it, calling them out about it, publicly shaming them about it. And yet there's people out there who are against it. And it always blows my mind. It's like, yo, like, yeah, I get it. Like, none of these guys are perfect. Neither are you and me. But, you know, they're out here trying to get stuff done for, you know, the children in that area or just victims.
Right.
And yet they're still against it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind.
And that's their flawed logic again. Like, oh, well, you're not perfect, so why are you telling other people how to behave? Well, yeah, I'm not perfect, but I'm not a fucking child predator. I am way better than a child predator. I could steal $1,000 and be way better than a child predator. I could, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm better than the people I'm confronting for sure. And what was I gonna say? And it's also their flawed logic of being against it. Like, well, they're not a convicted, so you know they're not a criminals, dude. Sometimes you do not need a judge to know that someone's guilty or not. You know, like someone could be guilty without having a judge even look at it. If you see somebody kill somebody, like they're guilty. You know what I mean? Before a judge says shit. You know what I mean? So like, the judge just makes it official. But these predators are guilty, and if they're not guilty, then please sue me for defamation and everything that I have, which has not happened one time. I've got 4 cease and desist letters, but never been sued. And there's a reason for that, because they know damn well they're guilty. So, yeah.
All right, fair enough. Good words.
Yeah.
To kind of like move on to like a little bit like easy personal questions or whatever. I already know you're into football. I know you're into athletics. I know you're into like working out and all that stuff. And I know you have a passion for catching predators.
Yeah.
But on the side of all of that, what does Alex do to like relax and kind of like be at peace and just kind of like chill and have your mind away from all this stuff?
Shit. Honestly, like, this shit doesn't even affect me too bad. Like, I love doing this, so this is like what I do. I mean, I like hang out with family and shit, but hang out with friends, like play sports sometimes, but that's kind of been fucked due to COVID. As you can see over there, there's no basketball courts because they took off the hoops and shit because of this little fake disease. But yeah, no, this is pretty much what I do like throughout the day. And a lot of my friends now like are in this community. Like I'm like really close with like CC Unit and Predator Poachers Toronto and shit. And me and them talk almost daily. And then I see my friends almost daily too, because we're doing this predator shit a lot. So I mean, we hang out while doing this, and we have a blast doing this. So I mean, I don't know. I'm glad my job is fun to me. Like I love every aspect of this. So,
all right,
no relaxation. I guess I play PS4 sometimes. Like, but other than that, really not much.
All right, so okay, I had to ask you that to kind of like calm things down because I mean I know they weren't getting heated or nothing like that, but as far as I go, like I was reading certain things on the chat area which were kind of like getting me a little uncomfortable because a lot of people say things without thinking them before they say them, so I was getting a little heated on my end. So I kind of asked that question to kind of like cool things down on my side. And also to get to know you a little better, of course. But
yeah.
Real quick, for the people who don't know, okay, there's a lot of people who speculate and assume things on how catches are done and what are the steps that you go through when you're like before the catch, during the catch, after the catch. A lot of things. Like for example, someone on here said something about that you held on to evidence for a week before you turned it in. And just stuff like that. Explain like pretty much the process without giving too much stuff away, because I know there's certain things that can be said because as always it might make things easier for the predator or the future predator. But what can you tell us about that whole process, or at least how you go about it?
Well, to debunk the holding on to evidence for a week thing, first of all, we confronted Brad 6 days after we started talking to him, so there was no week to hold on to evidence. But what does that even mean? You held on to evidence for a week? Yeah, we held on to evidence before we confronted him and turned it into cops. I don't know what that means. Like, okay, so with that logic, should I instantly just turn in like a one screenshot to the cops of somebody being okay with the age? or should I gather more evidence and put it all in once? Like, I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, no, it's sometimes chatting with them can take a few days, sometimes a week, sometimes more than a week, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically we want them to incriminate themselves. The first thing we always say, at least with how me and my friends do it, like in Houston, we say the age immediately, as unbelievable as it sounds. Like, they could send a dick pic, they could say hello, they could say how are you, they could say anything. The first thing we always say is the age. We always say I'm 14, I'm 13, I'm 12, I'm 11. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what. Just to say, like, there's no argument for enticement, no argument for any of that. We always say the age is the very first thing. And then we talk with them. We let them say the sexual things if they get to that point. And I try to do phone calls because they tend to be more open in that and tend to believe the voice. So that makes them more comfortable and gets them to say more things. And yeah, like, basically, before you confront somebody, you want all the evidence you can have on them. You want to make it look like, you want to make it look as bad on them as possible. So gathering more evidence is the best. And kind of prolonging the chatting is good too, because then they open up about their past. They open up about where they work and shit. Like, it's truly like, as Jackson, like, I know I crack a lot of jokes with the Predators, especially on the phone calls and shit. That's to get them to open up. That's to, like, the comedy disarms them. It gets them to laugh, or it gets them to say, like, oh, well, a cop wouldn't be making these jokes. And then it gets them to kind of open up about shit. Like, if somebody laughs, laughter is a great way to manipulate somebody. You know what I mean? Like, if they're laughing, they tend to, like,
Sorry about that.
They tend to kind of be more open and be more comfortable around you. So if I can get a Predator to kind of giggle, then they open, and then it fucks them in the end. So that's how I do the phone calls and shit. And we don't do as many straight Predators because I don't have, like, a girl decoy that I can just instantly hit up and she'd be down. Like, there is one that helps out, but it's not 100% like certain. You know what I mean? Like, and if we're confronting someone going after a boy, I can obviously just do the voice and do whatever I got to do, you know. So yeah.
And I'm glad you kind of like walked us through the whole process there. But let me correct some people in the chat area right now, because this is where, you know, this is where my emotions get really, like, mixed up, because, you know, the sad reality is that a picture, a screenshot, sometimes, if not most of the times, is not enough evidence for the police to do what they got to do. You know, many times they ask for a lot more than that. And I'm sorry to correct you here in public, the person who said this earlier, but that's just not true. Like, a picture, like, yeah, you could give them a picture and say, hey, you know, this person is doing this with a minor or whatever, and they send a picture or a screenshot of. That's just sometimes, if not half the time, just not enough for law enforcement. And it's sad, but it's a sad reality, you know?
Oh, the in-person confrontation, like, counts a shit ton. Like, it shows that they're actually about it. You know what I mean? Like, it shows that they're following through, because even dirty talk is not illegal, you know? Like, sending unsolicited dick pictures is illegal, but dirty talk to anybody, you know, that's pretty fucked, in my opinion, that it's not illegal. But the fact is, it's not illegal. So you got to be about it. Like, online solicitation of a minor is, first of all, you got to know the age. So they got to acknowledge the age. And the law applies to whether there's a kid there or not. As long as they believe they're meeting a kid, then it's a crime. But they got to know the age, and there has to be something sexual involved. And even kissing is not illegal for 14 and up. Kissing is only illegal for 13 and under. So basically what's illegal is, you know, it has to be something like sexual that involves, like, the private parts. So has to be that involved if it's 14. And then on top of that, they actually have to show up to the meeting spot, you know? So yeah, it's not as easy as just saying, oh, here, look, you know? But of course, that's why they're on one side of the screen, I'm on the other, because I know what I'm talking about more than they do. So yeah.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that for people who apparently feel that, you know, that's enough, and that would call it, like, oh, if I turn this in, you know, that calls for a day, you know, or that 100% will ensure putting this guy or this person behind bars. But you know,
Yeah, no, actually, I think that commenter, whoever it is, like I'm not looking at the chat.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but I'm not even gonna say the name.
Yeah, feeling too, but I think they're actually right. Actually, every single text that a predator sends me, I'm actually just gonna send it to HPD immediately. Like, literally every single sending it immediately to HPD because apparently there's no line. Like,
Right.
okay, if I talk to a predator for a month, am I holding on to evidence for a month? Or if I talk to a predator, if Justin Payne talks to a predator for a year, is he holding on to evidence for a year? Like,
Right.
you know, somehow when it's only me, now it's suddenly the worst thing in the world, you know?
All right, so I do kind of like want to start wrapping things up little by little. Even though if it were up to me, I would be here as long as you would be allow me to be on here with you. But because I know there's other poachers dropping videos like around 5 and all that, I'm going to try to wrap things up little by little here. As I always ask every single one of you, do you have any words that you have been dying to say to certain people who are against the movement? And when I say movement, I'm not talking about predator poachers. I'm talking about putting child predators away, putting child pedophiles away. Do you have anything to say, or have you wanted to say to those people who are against that movement? Or
no, not really. I mean, they're just fucking idiots. I don't really have shit to say to them. They can just honestly, I'll just keep doing my thing, and they'll keep getting pissed off, and I like to piss people off. So yeah, no, they can enjoy this growing movement and see it blow up in their face. So, yep.
okay. Now, do you have anything to say to like all your supporters, people who actually follow you, support what you do, appreciate you for what you do, and all that stuff?
Yeah, man, I appreciate each and every single one of y'all. Even the people that don't like me that watch, because you still help support. Like, every view counts. You know what I mean? Like, every view gets the video going, and eventually, like every view is like a lottery ticket. You know what I mean? Eventually, you'll have the winning number, who knows the person, and then the shit will start to go down. So, I appreciate everybody that watches. Like, just watching the videos really helps out a lot, and each small little view helps, you know? So I appreciate all of y'all for sticking around. I appreciate all of y'all for putting up with my bullshit for like a year and 3 months. So yeah, day one people, to the people that just have found out about me yesterday or some shit, you know what I mean? I appreciate each and every single one of you, and thank you for making this possible, because without y'all, these videos wouldn't mean shit. So I appreciate each and every single one of you, and thank you, Jorge, for giving me this platform to be on and talk my. And yeah.
All right. Is there anything you want to talk about that doesn't have to do or concern the interview, like something that you have been wanted to say to everybody, whether it be supporter or not, or just openly like, hey, I want to say my piece about this topic or the other topic? Is there anything you want to like put out there for the people?
Alex Rosen for president 2036. That's it.
Okay. As thus far, I'm gonna hold my opinion, but I'm gonna say I'm leaning towards that you do have my vote in the future if you do run. You know, I'm leaning more towards that side right there. Okay, I'm not saying anything, confirming anything. I'm just saying I'm leaning towards that side thus far. Now I'm gonna start with some of the questions that I'm seeing right now. I'm not going to scroll back all the way an hour ago. I'm going to scroll back to what's the most recent question I see on my side. But if you have a question, now is the time to type your question in, because I'm going to try to have this interview done by around 4:45, no later than 4:50. So I'm going to start asking questions and putting them on the screen little by little. And if you have a question, now is the time to type it in, and hopefully Alex has an answer for it. Appleby asks, what is your plan to contribute to an increased convictions?
Find a detective that is 100% down to work with me. Preferably that won't take my iPhone every time that I catch a predator. But the plan would be to be more professional. Like, if they can guarantee me that they're really going to look into cases like Montgomery County seems to be doing, then I will make it professional as fuck, and that will lead to more convictions, along with doing it in the right area, doing it in the area where you're welcome. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, just go to where open arms are, and I think that can lead to more convictions. Because I can still catch Houston Predators in the Woodlands. I can just bring them over there, and then that was in the Woodlands jurisdiction. So yeah, that would be the plan for sure for that.
Okay. I have a question here from Toyo Socio. Why do you make reference to black people when you're on a catch?
Because it's funny, and I make fun of every other race. If you want to go look at white predators, I also make fun of white people. So next question.
FM asks, when are you coming to NYC?
When I have a gun pointed to my face forcing me to do it.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that answer right there, so that was good.
Preferably from the same guy that robbed Rami. But next.
All right. Okay. Hold on. I'm still gonna ask this because even though I know it's a troll, but I'm still gonna ask it so they can't say that I don't answer questions. How much did you pay Cassidy to collaborate?
0. I've never paid for him for fucking collaboration.
There you go. I'm glad you responded to that straight away. Will JDQ become the official anchorman for Predator Poachers? And will I join the organization? Half of that question is yours and half of it's mine, so I'll let you answer the first part.
No. I'd rather you stay unbiased. I'd rather you not be like an arm of us. I'd rather you be more neutral so you can get through to more people.
Let's have you say that again from the very beginning though. You prefer me to stay what?
Stay more neutral.
Neutral and what? Unbiased, you said, right?
Yeah, because in the end, being neutral and unbiased is in our favor. So I mean, I don't have to I don't have to ask you to, hey, can you please say something good about us, because the truth is good about us. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And to answer,
you got to answer.
Yeah, I'll answer the question. So, although I do support and love the Predator Poachers movement, and they have like my blessing and all that, I do prefer to stay do my own thing aside, only because I don't want to feel, and not that I will feel like tied down to it, but I want to feel a little bit more free, knowing that I have to only answer to the law and myself and all that, and kind of just plan things out for myself, So while I do appreciate you guys and I do support you guys, I will be doing my own thing eventually when I do start doing my own confrontations and catches. So sadly, that's a no for me, but for good reasons. So, Tetris God asks, does Alex ever fear the hunt?
Not anymore. I kind of used to sometimes, but not anymore. I have too much fun to be scared.
Okay. So, I guess you could say that because you've learned so much along the way, the whole intensity of the situation dropped down, and you've gotten more comfortable with doing these confrontations.
Yeah, even going to the halfway house, it was just funny. I just had fun doing it and shit. I wasn't nervous in the least.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see how much. Okay. Appleby asks, how much money would it take for us to raise for you to get here?
Literally, guys, my Cash App is Shibo16, and guys, I need
I think
$1 million for the hair transplant, and every single penny will be reinvested into the hair transplant.
I think that question's for the both of us, man. Because look.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you're gonna have to go figure that out outside of here, and then let me know how much it costs, and then I'll inform the community how much it is gonna be.
Looking like St. Jude's DQ, man. Jesus Christ.
Whatever, man. Whatever. So
yeah.
Christopher LaRoche asks, favorite catch so far?
Super Bowl 42, David Tyree helmet catch.
This guy, dear Lord.
Probably neck beard, to be honest. That was just so funny. Then when he tried to send me a cease and desist letter, oh god, he was like the biggest bitch. It was just hilarious to me. But yeah, that was probably my favorite catch.
Nice. All right, so here's a quick one from Jan Bruno. Of course, the lovely Jen Bruno asking, when will your hair grow back? But we kind of already discussed that a second ago, kind of. But I think maybe in like 3 months, it should be partially back.
I'd say the hair will grow back when my bank account grows. So again, guys, my Cash App is Shibo16, and I'm actually working with the VP of a Fortune 500 barber company to actually get my hair growing back, guys. So literally, guys. So send some donations, and if you send me $500 via PayPal, I'll take a picture with you with my hair growing back. So thank you, guys. Literally.
Nice. Literally.
Nice.
All right. So Appleby actually has a really good question that I was going to ask, but I'm glad he asked it himself. Let me see if I can put it up on here. He says, what made you set up the NCMEC donations on your YouTube channel, and how can we make this trend throughout your organization?
Oh, I didn't even know I could do that. I just saw Toronto doing it, and I'm like, hey, you know what? That's a good idea to do. And I'll gladly give up would-be super chat money and have it go to that instead. So honestly, the direct thing that made me do it was seeing it on Predator Poacher Toronto's channel. But what made me want to do that rather than super chats is, I don't know, I'd rather just have money go to that rather than me. So yeah.
Nice.
I'm so sorry. How can we make it a trend throughout your organization? I can just tell all these inactive people to actually do a cash so you can put the fundraiser up, and at that point it'll be good. So yeah.
All right. Yeah, I was wondering that too. So a huge shout out to Predator Poachers Toronto, Sophie. All right. Thank you for doing that and letting us know that you can actually do that. So I mean, I'm gonna try to find a way of doing it on my end if that's even possible. Because once again, this is about the children mainly. This is about helping them out and protecting them and all that good stuff. So we got Predator Poacher Anton from Ohio in the channel area. I'm in the chat area. So huge what's up to Anton. And
also, if y'all want to donate to another organization, feel free to donate to the ARBAF, the RBAF. It's the Alex Rosen Bank Account Fund. All you got to do is donate to that. Is go to Cash App, Shibo16, and just press a bunch of numbers randomly and press send and see what you get. It's really to help out.
Matt Jones with another serious question. He says, what's the update on Brad?
The update on Brad, I have not heard from the detective in a few days. I texted him today, any updates, haven't heard back from him yet. But same shit. They're planning on interrogating him, getting a warrant on his phone. Don't know when that's going to happen. Just know it's going to happen. And they are 100% going to nail him on the child porn that he sent me. And the chats look bad on him too. The detective said I did the chats completely right and shit. But yeah, all I know is he's getting in trouble for child porn at the very least. What's the other stuff is to be determined. So that's the update so far. And I do have an update on another predator that I did not know about. So the guy that me and Cassidy caught in May, that went into Cassidy's house, that guy is actually still in jail, which I did not know. I assumed that he bailed out because common sense would, he'd probably be bailed out by now. But apparently his parents said, fuck you. And he's still in jail because we were filming a prank video the other day, and we came across two people that knew who we were. And they went to school with this Andrew Gonzalez guy, the guy that, screwed 11, 13-year-olds. And they're in that community in Plano, Texas. And yeah, no, they say he's still in jail. So that's really awesome to hear that piece of shit's still in jail, because he was definitely right up there with Brad on the worst one. So yeah.
All right, that's a really great update, man. And I'm just as shocked as a lot of people here are. So,
Yeah.
but that's good. You're keeping track of all this, man. So, Predator Poachers Archive asks, if you could punch any single one of your predators in the face, which one would it be?
Oh, shit. I would say probably Andrew. That's on Cassidy's channel. But besides that, I'd say Soy Boy Creep, who was on the old channel. Yeah, that dude just pissed me off because he was just, God, I just wanted to fucking maul that dude. But yeah, probably Soy Boy Creep.
All right, so we got Wise Guy asking, did they really shave all your hair, all of your hair?
I mean, Can you change your name to dumbass for asking that question? I mean, just look.
We love wise guy, but
Yeah.
that I don't know. That question was a bit far.
Yeah.
All right. So Becca Lynn asked a really good question. What do your parents think about the movement? You know, and the whole franchise built.
Oh, before 50,000 subs, I'm just trying to start shit and trying to fuck with people. But after 50,000 subs, they're all for it, and they suddenly want free T-shirts. So yeah, Mom and Dad. No, but that is kind of true. But as they see that it's actually serious, and they actually see that we're on the news and see that we are truly making a difference, they're about it. And obviously they were just worried about my safety at first, and they still are. So it took them a little bit to come around, but they're totally on board with it now, for sure.
That's good, man. That's good. And like you said before, they for the most part in your childhood and all that, they supported you and were always there for you, and kind of like nudged you in the right direction. So it would only make sense that even right now, they would be like supporting you in what you're doing.
Oh yeah, I don't think I'd be doing this without them. Like I think most other parents would say, "Are you out of your mind? You're not doing this." And no, they let me do it, even though if they didn't agree with it at first, they still let me make my own decision. And I went ahead and did this.
Very nice. All right, so before I let you go, I gotta always try to do this and get this in before I stop the interview. It's gonna be a lightning round, 5 questions, really fast, 5 seconds to answer each one.
All right.
And then if you want to add anything else before I let you go, you can do that. All right. And I tried my best to ask all the questions in the chat area. So if I forgot somebody, I'm sorry. I tried to get as many as I could, but we do have to end this because it's been almost 2 hours. And Predator and Poachers Massachusetts, Jay has a live catch coming up at 5 as a premiere. So real quick, all right, 5 questions, 5 seconds, and only answer truthfully. All right.
Do it, baby.
All right. Favorite football team?
New York Giants.
Giants. All right. Favorite player on that football team?
Oh God, Will Hernandez.
Hernandez. All right. All right. Favorite song of all times?
Angry Chair by Alice in Chains.
Okay. Favorite music genre of all times?
90s rock.
90s rock, of course. You always play it on your stream, so I was kind of hoping you would say that.
Yeah.
And of course, last but not least, who is your favorite interviewer of all times?
Rami Al-Dali. No, I'd say the best interviewer is you and Ivory Hecker from Fox 26 News, because all the other news stations in Houston are all liberal as fuck and make Predator Poachers the worst thing in the world, but she actually takes time to listen and shit and cares. So shout out to both of y'all.
Appreciate that, man. And thank you for being honest and truthful, because I was going to say, just be truthful. If it's not me, it don't have to be me. I'll be happy and okay, and I'll be sleeping in peace at night if it's not me. So, but that's good. That's good. All right. So anything you want to update your supporters on? Any like future catches that you're like working on editing or anything like that?
So what's coming up is I'm dropping another video that me and CC Unit did probably in 2 days from now. I believe he's posting it on his channel tonight, but I'm just going to post my side of it from in 2 days from now. But I'll be live tonight. We have been chatting with a female predator, Jen Stewart, who probably some of y'all know, has been chatting with her. And I just want to show y'all some more of those chats. We're going to make sure it's not like the Alex guy, like the French dude that I can't post because apparently he's being investigated right now by Humble PD. But I'll make sure that, it's actually a catch, like a good catch after these chats and shit. Because, I'm going to like really show y'all, like we actually have a female predator on the hook. She lives over in Austin and should be interesting. She's an extreme groomer, and I can't wait to eventually catch her, at least at that.
That's good. That's good. Any other things in the works that you want to let people know about? Because I know there's something else that you got cooking up, but I don't know if you want to tell the people or not. That's up to you.
Okay. Let me ask you this: Did Albert Einstein send a freaking paper in a bottle across the Atlantic Ocean to the Germans saying we're gonna, blow you to bits? I'm sorry, to the Japs, we're saying we're gonna blow you to bits.
Woo, of course not.
Yes
Of
or
course
no?
not.
You're being interrogated right now.
That's a huge no.
Yeah, did FDR take a battleship to Japan and roll off on his wheelchair and tell Yamamoto you're going to be nuked? No, he didn't do it. So
Okay. Well, so you're not gonna. I'm just gonna say, there is other things in the works. Okay, behind the curtains and behind the scenes, and I'm not gonna say about what. I'm not gonna say about what specifically, but just know that Alex is working on something very important, and very serious to the movement. So I'll just leave it at that.
right.
So
And-
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, coming up next, Predator Poachers Massachusetts has a premiere in 7 or 6 minutes. So everybody, please get the fuck out of the stream and go watch him.
There you go.
Yeah. So, no offense, being that I'm the one that got you monetized, I have the right to tell people where to go from your channel. But yeah, no, go watch PP Mass, man. I'm glad he's back. Jay, if you're listening to this, I'm twice your size and can beat your ass, but I like that you catch predators and that you caught the Stowe Police Chief. So, yeah, y'all go watch him and shit.
All right, yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. So I'm not even gonna say it. What Alex just said is correct. Everybody go over there, show Jay some love and support. And hey, Alex, thank you for stopping by, bro. I appreciate your time. Thank you for letting me do like a serious, formal interview with you. I appreciate it. And hopefully we'll do like another one in a few months from now, just to do like an update and all that good stuff. All right.
All right.
Thanks, bro. Have a good one. Stay blessed. All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right. So everybody heard that. There's like 5 minutes left. Okay. It's about to be 5 p.m. So that's going to be the premiere of Jay's live catch. So don't miss that. Go over there right now. As of right now, this stream is not as important as Predator Poachers Massachusetts. So just leave that like up and the thumbs up before you leave the stream. Don't forget to do that. Don't forget to comment, share this stream, share this interview, and of course, start heading over to Jay's channel, all right? Predator Poachers Massachusetts. So thank you, everybody, for your kind words. Thank you for your support, your love. And yeah, like Sunshine just said, don't forget to hit that like button and show the channel some love. And y'all have a blessed day. I love every single one of you. And I'll catch you all on the flip side tomorrow, all right? If not tomorrow, then definitely on Wednesday, I have another interview with someone that you guys have been hoping that I interview for a while now. And of course, he's been wanting to do one too, but he has told me multiple times he wanted more catches under his belt. But with what recently happened on one of his catches, he agreed to do like an interview finally. So just keep an eye out for that on Wednesday, okay? Okay, you guys have a good one. I'm starting to see some things on here that I should not be seeing. But anyways, y'all stay blessed and go over to Predator Poachers Massachusetts. Oh my goodness. Jay's channel, all right? Peace out. Love you all and take care.